Hi everyone, it's Cathy from CathyZielske.com, welcoming you to Heck Yeah Hybrid, a new video series wherein I show you how to use my digital stuff to make tangible, real-world, memory-keeping goodness. Today I'm going to show you how to take digital stamps or PNG files and create your own 3x4 or whatever size cards you want to make for pocket page albums. Pocket page scrapbooking, aka Project Lifestyle scrapbooking, is huge right now, and you may not be aware of all the ways that you can take a digital product and turn it into something custom that's tailored to you and your style. So let's begin. For this tutorial, I am working in Photoshop Elements version 13. Of course, you can use earlier versions or full Photoshop, and if you're in full Photoshop, I'll try to call out some things that are different as we go. We're going to start out by making a master document to hold our cards that we make so that when we are ready to print, we have something to print and we can save paper. So let's go Command key if you are on a Mac, or Control if you're on a PC. Command or Control N for a new document. And we're just going to pick a letter size document, 8.5 by 11, 300 RGB color, all looks good. I'm just going to name it right now and call it My Cards. Simple. Click OK. There it is. We're going to come back to it. Next up, we're going to make our first card. Command or Control N again to get the same new window, and I'm going to just enter in a 3 wide and a 4 tall. Of course, you can, whatever pocket size you're designing for, this is where you customize that size. Again, making sure it's 300 resolution, right? Because that is our print resolution. Anything lower will look pixelated and fuzzy. I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to go Command or Control numeral 0. Why? It fills my whole page. I like to see as much of my document as possible, and that's a great keystroke to learn, Command or Control 0 for full page view. And now I am going to bring in a digital stamp. I'm going to go Command or Control O for open. I'm going to get this guy up here, and I'm going to navigate into my blog where I have my files for my tutorial. And let's see, I'm going to start with this file. It's from one of my digital collections, and it just says, best day ever, like for real. Beautiful, right? Open the file, and let's just take a quick look at what a PNG file is. It is simply one layer of black pixels that make up what you see here on a checkerboard background. Of course, the checkerboard tells you that this is transparent. It is see-through, right? Right. Now we need to get this into our card document. In Photoshop, there are so many ways. There are so many ways to move things and transfer and copy. Here's a quick way. I want you to right-click or control-click on layer 0. Go to duplicate layer. When it comes up under the drop-down, just pick your untitled. That's the card that you're working on. Not my cards. We're not ready to go there yet, right? Click OK. And I'm just going to close this because we're done with it. Because now that layer has transferred in here. Now you want to make sure that you have on Show Bounding Box. Of course, if you are in earlier versions of Photoshop or full Photoshop, it's going to appear in the upper left toolbar. And then you're just going to click on a corner and drag in. Now for you full Photoshop users, you have to hold down your Shift key to constrain that proportion, okay? Because otherwise it'll get all wonky. But in Photoshop Elements, you don't have to do that. You can just, drag it in, get it to a size you like, double click to commit the change. Now, we're going to center this. If you look over here in the Layers palette, you'll see the background. It's got a little lock. I want you to click that to unlock it. If you're in full Photoshop, just double click on the layer and that will allow you to unlock it. The reason we're going to do that is because I want to take layer 1, which contains the graphic, and quickly center it on the page. I don't want to eyeball this, right? I'm going to click on that layer, make sure it's highlighted. I'm going to hold down my Command key or my Control key if I'm on a PC. And then I'm going to click once in the thumbnail of the layer below that I'm centering on. So click once. And when I do that, you'll see the marching ants show up. That means the layer is selected. But the beautiful thing is I've created an anchor base layer to align my graphic on. All I have to do is come down now into the align area and hit center and middle. And just like that, I'm going to go Command or Control D to get rid of those marching ants. I have a perfectly centered graphic. Super simple. Now here, do I want to change the color? On this one I don't, but you could. You could come over to color, you could click, and you could say maybe I want more of like a, I don't know, like a hot pink, maybe something like that. Click OK. And then you could go to Edit, Fill Layer, and under Contents, you would choose foreground color because you've just defined that. You would have Preserve Transparency checked and you'd click OK. And there, just like that, a simple graphic converted to color. The card is ready to go. Now I'm going to undo that because I actually just like it to be black and white. So I've just created one simple card, right? Pretty easy. Now I'm going to hold down my Shift key on both of these layers, and I'm going to right click again or Control click, and I'm going to duplicate these. And where do you think we're going to put them? Yes, into my cards, and I'm going to click OK. Now I can save this, and I'm just going to call it Card 1. I'm going to replace the one that was there because that was from an earlier practice round. And I'm going to close the file. But I'm going to come back here to my cards, and you'll see it's brought it right in. I can just click on both layers, right? Drag it around here. And now I'm going to come and just click on Layer 1. That's the background. That's the 3x4 outline. And I'm going to go up to Layer, Layer Style, and Style Settings. Click on Stroke. And just for the purpose of the tutorial, I'll leave it at 3, but it doesn't have to be as big as 3. You can have it just be 1 pixel and make it on the outside. And when I click OK, I click away, you will see I now have an outline to the card. The reason I'm doing this is so that when I'm ready to print, I have a guide, and I will trim as close to the inside of that guide as I can get. And generally speaking, I have good luck with that because it seems like sometimes pockets can be a little tight. And so there you go. There is one card. I'm going to save this file. Again, my cards, it always asks me to do this twice, but there you go. There's one card, right? Really simple. Let's make another. To make our next card, again, we'll start with Command or Control N, and it already remembers the 3x4 from last time, so I'm just going to click OK. Command or Control 0 to make the full page. And I'm going to go Command or Control O and find another digital stamp that I've got set aside. And I'm going to use February. This is from another digital collection that I have of just months, very simple. Of course, this has the same style of the card that I just made, the graphic on that. And again, I'm going to right click or Control click, duplicate layer, put it into that untitled document, click OK, and I can close that. And now I will repeat the sizing process because the digital stamps are usually designed to be a little bigger. Maximum, I think, is, I can't remember how many pixels wide, but it's so that you can use them at varying sizes. But I'm going to make this a little smaller for now. Double click to commit the change, and I'm going to come back over here, unlock the background by clicking on it, click back on the graphic that holds the art, and then Command or Control click in the thumbnail layer, and then go ahead and go center and middle. Command or Control D to deselect. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to add a background box to this, but I want it to have a border. So I'm going to turn on my visible grid. To do that, I'm going to hit my Command or Control key, and I'm going to hit the apostrophe mark. And when I do, you'll see this lovely grid that comes up. I have my grid right now set to a number of 6. Under Preferences, you can go down to Guides and Grids, and you can change it. I have it set up to 6 as my subdivision. If I changed it to 8, it's going to push it out a little more. In fact, I'll just show you what that looks like. Well, let's do that. I'm going to click OK. And now what I'm going to do, I have a color that I like. This is a pink. You can do any color you want. Let's just keep it pink for now. I'll show you a quick way to change that. But I'm going to get the rectangle tool, and I'm going to come in here. Actually, I'm going to click on layer 0. Why? Because when I make my new layer, I want it to be directly underneath the February art. I'm going to click from one corner and drag down so that I have 2 pixel or 2 squares around the whole thing. See, that's how you can create a very quick, easy, even border by using that grid. And now under February, if I go back here, I'm going to get my move tool, go to layer 1, I'm going to change that to white. So I'm going to go to edit, fill layer, and under contents, I'm going to come all the way down and just choose white. Again, preserve transparency is checked so the whole layer doesn't flood with that color. And when I click OK, you can see it turns to white, and I can go Command or Control apostrophe to get rid of the grid so I can see what I have. Now here, if I wanted to make this a little smaller, I can click on it. If I hold down my Option key and drag in, it will drag right from the center. So you can adjust that a little bit, but that's another way to take a card, take some art, a digital stamp, a PNG file, bring it in and play with it. Now let's say you got this color and you're like, yeah, I don't really like it. You can simplify the box background, right click on it, and just go to simplify layer. Then it just becomes a very easily editable graphic. And then come in here and you can just go in a totally different direction. Let's say you want to get something like, whatever color you're wanting to do. You can change the color and then repeat, edit, fill layer. This time though, instead of white, we have to go back up to foreground color, click OK, click away, and there you go. I'm going to undo that because I actually really like the pink. And then I'm going to save it, and I'm going to call it Card 2. And once I've got this, I'm going to again select all the layers that I've created, right click, duplicate layers, go back to My Cards. Oh, come on now. And there we go. And click OK. When I come back, you'll see it there. I'm going to click. I'm going to drag it over a little bit. It kind of locks into place. And I'll get a little closer there. Isn't that good? And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to click away for a second. See this layer that has the little icon with the FX? If I hold down my Alt key or my Option key on a Mac and just click on that FX and drag it down to the layer 3 that's the other background that I have in there, I don't have to go through the whole process and make more. So there is 2 cards, and now I will print them out. I will sprinkle them into my album. But you can do this with any digital stamp. You can change the color, you can add backgrounds, and you can use any card size that you need to take something and apply it to cards for your album. So hopefully this has been fun, and you will see the beauty of hybrid scrapbooking and say to yourself, heck yeah, hybrid. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.